Alright everyone, as you guys can tell, I'm stuck in a login queue here, but this is not just any normal, ordinary login queue. In fact, I want to take this video as an opportunity to talk about a major issue that is going on in Lost Ark right now, and I wanted to point out some key things in particular that some people might not have caught on yet, and really highlight why this is such a major issue here. So, first of all, I want to bring up the fact that we are now 2 days after the update, and last night I did not have any login queue at all. In fact, the entire first day after the update, I had no login queues, which is a bit strange. You would think that after an update, if we're going to have login queues on the second day, why would I not have login queues on the first day, right? But here we are on the second day, and now all of a sudden, I actually logged into a 10,800 login queue, and it's going down pretty slowly as well. I've been stuck in this queue for probably about an hour or so. Now, let's take a little bit of time to examine the Steam charts and the player base count for Lost Ark, because this is going to really highlight this issue perfectly here. And this is actually kind of the smoking gun here that really is the proof in the pudding on how big of an issue this really is. So, if we take a look at the player count chart for Lost Ark, there's a couple of important things to notice. So if you can see the player count, of course, obviously when the player count goes to virtually zero, that's downtime. The server's down for the update right there, but then the servers go back online. And this is basically all the first day here after this big update that we got. And you guys can see here that the player base count is actually quite a bit lower than it was before the update. So what this is very likely the program that the bots use to actually, bot the game, it probably hasn't updated yet. They haven't, updated the software or whatever it is. And basically, TLDR is the bots are not online the day after the update. Now, the thing is, this gives us a much better idea of basically what the real player count is. There definitely might still be some bots on, but the bulk majority of these giant bot farms that you guys see plaguing the game are not online the day after the update. And this really reflects a closer number to the true player count of Lost Ark. Now, the thing is, now on the second day after the update, you can see that all of a sudden the player count has just absolutely tremendously spiked here. And we went from basically hovering around 300,000 to 500,000. Now, I can guarantee you guys that all of a sudden an additional 200,000 people didn't decide to say, you know what? Okay, let's play the second day after the update. Let's not play the first day, of course, but now let's play the second day, especially if you go back in time and you take a look at the player count of Lost Ark, in more detail. It's very clear here that this was the point now where all of a sudden these giant bot farms that have been running the game have been able to actually update it. And you can see that they all of a sudden just immediately basically log back on and spike the player count of Lost Ark to almost 500,000 again. And this virtually happens overnight here. And what this causes is major issues in the game for regular players in many different ways. And it's very clear here that not only has Amazon not been able to tackle this problem, but it seems like it is getting worse and worse. And obviously, if you guys are looking at the Steam player counts most of the time now, these numbers that we've been seeing of like 400,000, 500,000, especially right now, these are not accurate. These are not all real players. A massive amount of these numbers here are going to be these giant bot farms that are plaguing the game right now. If anything, it's the day after the update when we saw these numbers at 280, 290, 300, 310,000. This is going to be the more reflective number of how many people are actually playing Lost Ark here. Now, this has major implications for regular players. First of all, the economy. It completely butchers the economy and the Crystal Exchange, and we've actually seen the Crystal Exchange throughout the past, at least on the US West Mari server. Obviously, this might be a bit different on your region, but when the game first started out, the exchange prices were very low, and they all of a sudden skyrocketed. We saw prices go up to 800 to 900 gold per 100 blue crystals. Then Amazon came out with their really big updates, and they had an entire post dedicated to them saying that they were working on addressing this major bot problem. And within just a matter of a couple of weeks, the exchange price completely crashed. And this is about the time where I actually ended up putting out that video where I said the market has crashed, and I talked about all the implications that this has, because you guys can clearly see that this is a major thing. Having all these bots doesn't, it's not a little thing. It affects everybody in a very big way, and it has major implications across everybody's ability to enjoy and experience the game. and it had a massive impact on the market. The market completely crashed. Prices of absolutely everything plummeted, including the exchange. And we went from a crystal exchange ratio of like 800 to 900 gold for 100 blue crystals, all the way back down to, like, for a little while, it was in the very low 300s, like 300, 310, 320 gold per 100 blue crystals. And then it actually managed to stay at around that point for a while. It seemed like the botting, there are obviously still some bots, but it seemed to be under control a bit. And then it started to, get out of control again, and it really quickly went up. These things, they happen fast. We had a good period of time where the exchange was around 300 to 350 gold, but then within a matter of just a few days to a week or so, it all of a sudden started to skyrocket and go into the 400s and even the 500s. And that's, last I checked, the exchange was getting close to 600 gold per 100 blue crystals. And if we have this problem continue to be like this, or even get worse, we're going to see the exchange get back to a point where it was 800 to 900 gold per 100 blue crystals, and it even has the capacity to get worse if Amazon truly cannot get a handle of this major botting issue right here. Now, what does this mean here? This isn't just the exchange prices. I know if you look at it without really getting too into it, it might not really seem like a very big deal, but you really have to think of it as like this. With this massive botting problem, basically what this means is, yes, it means higher exchange prices, but at the end of the day, what it means is that your time and your effort in the game as a player, as an actual human being and not as a bot, your time is valued less. Everything that you do in the game, all your efforts, all your time, all the effort that you spend making gold and making money and farming items, your time becomes worth less because of all the inflation that there is in the game from this runaway bot issue. Now, a great example of this is taking a look at running like an Abyss Dungeon. Abyss Dungeons end up giving you a static amount of gold, right? When you finish an Abyss Dungeon, you get, let's say, 900 gold for finishing that Abyss Dungeon. Well, without the botting issue, let's say that there is a crystal exchange ratio of 300 to 1, or 300 gold for 100 blue crystals. If you get 900 gold from running an Abyss Dungeon, you can then end up using the efforts and the gold from that one Abyss Dungeon that you ran to buy 300 blue crystals. Now, if we have this insanely bad bot problem like we have right here, and the crystal exchange goes back up to 900 gold per 100 blue crystals, that same time and effort that you end up spending in that Abyss Dungeon can now only end up buying 100 blue crystals in the crystal exchange. So the same amount of time and effort can now only end up getting you 1/3 of the rewards due to the inflation of the bots. And if you're thinking, well, okay, that's just the exchange, that doesn't mean that it's going to have an impact on the market. It does. It has a massive impact on all other sources of whatever costs gold. Everything on the market is going to go up in price. So that same amount of gold that you end up getting from the Abyss Dungeon, it's not going to allow you to get nearly as many materials. Prices of everything is going to go up. And at the end of the day, it just means that your time and effort as an actual player in the game just means less. So this is a serious problem, and I wanted to, especially considering it looks like I'm going to spend a good part of my day here just sitting in the queue waiting to play the game. This is something that Amazon, really, you need to take a step back here, and you need to look at this again, because it seems like it's only getting worse, and this is not good. This is definitely not something that we should be having this big of a problem with in Lost Ark. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit, especially with the extra time that I have here. Might as well make a video and bring some more attention to it, and let me know what you guys think. So with that being said, that's going to be about it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this video was able to bring a little bit of insight into this issue. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a quick like, consider subscribing to the channel, and feel free to check out the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/salt, where I'll be streaming Lost Ark as well as other games. Thanks again, everyone. Hopefully you guys don't get stuck in these queues like I have, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.